I will also share two links, so you can take while Kirtan is going on. You can fill those two. Should take a couple of minutes to fill. If you have not already done, if you have already filled one form, and if you've already marked your, you know, that's fine. But if not, I would highly encourage everyone to please do so. Okay, so we'll start the Kirtan.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari
Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Rajajana Ranjana
Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Vrajajana Ranjana
Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Rajajana Ranjana
Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Vrajajana Ranjana
Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari
Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much to everyone for joining again. I'm so grateful to all of you for your kind association. So last time we covered till text number 19. Before we move forward, I would like to take some reflections, or reflection is something which really struck you, or kind of like a take-home message. You really got inspired by that particular comment or that learning from Bhagavad Gita. So anyone would like to share something from last 1 or 2 sessions which really struck you, or just short and sweet? Anyone? Yes, Mataji, please. We can't hear you. I think you're speaking, but there's something not right. We'll come back to you. I think your daughter has come to help you. Anyone else in the meantime would like to share? We'll come back on that. Yes, Abhishek, please.
It works out.
Oh, yeah, now it's good. Yes, please go ahead, and then we'll come back to Abhishek.
Should I go ahead?
Yes, yes, please.
Sorry. Hare Krishna, everybody. I'm Sheetal Prasad from Jackson, Tennessee. From the last sessions and the readings, what I liked about everything that was discussed was that one who takes the shelter of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, they have nothing to fear. That was the takeaway lesson that, I would say.
Thank you so much. That's in text number 19, the last line of the purport, and it's one of my favorite lines as well.
Yes.
Even in the midst of greatest calamity. Anyone goes through calamity in life? Raise your hand if you have ever gone, or we all go through it. Practically every day is calamity. But no matter how big the calamities may be, one will always be joyful. One will be undisturbed. So thank you so much for sharing that. Anyone else wants to share? Yes, Abhishek, probably you want to share? And then we'll come to Aradhana Patel Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna. From the last session, I just picked up like things the same the what Sheetal Mataji told, like if we just give ourselves in the hand in the hands of Supreme Lord, that is Krishna, then we don't have to fear and for anything. And the other thing is like if we just read the Bhagavad Gita, it will be all, and we can understand how we can take care of our life and we should follow all the rules and all.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. You reminded me of Gita Mahatmya, one of the verse which explains the glories of Bhagavad Gita, and now this Kumbh Mela is going on in Vrindavan. So it is mentioned that Bhagavad Gita is my supreme shelter, it's my supreme abode, it's my supreme most hidden treasure, it's my guru and my supreme shelter. And wherever Krishna is saying, I am present within the Gita, and Gita is my supreme residence. Only by the knowledge of Gita, I do maintain the three worlds. So in short, Bhagavad Gita has the essence of everything, as you said. It's like a manual which will help us in all the situations of life. There is, a special kind of program done by one of the leading kind of motivational speaker. You may have heard Vivek Bindra. He does management lessons from Bhagavad Gita. And there are so many great philosophers, devotees, and scientists. They all use Bhagavad Gita. So thank you, very nice. Yes, Aradhana Patel, Mataji, want to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My name is Aradhana. I'm joining you from Hollywood, Florida. And there was a statement that you made that really inspired me last week. And it was, if one is spiritually blind, it is difficult to see the good in others. That just struck me to my heart, and it really awoke something inside of me. So thank you.
Thank you so much for joining. And yes, that's so powerful. It's so powerful. And we discussed that because one of the devotees asked that question, that why were Drona and why Duryodhana did not listen to Drona's advice or Bhishma's advice, because he was spiritually blind. And towards the end, remind me, we'll talk about a story of not seeing good in others. Okay, towards the end, we'll discuss. Anyone else? One last point before we start today's discussion. One last, any reflections, comments, anything inspired you from the last two sessions? Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. I would just add one thing, like if you know that you are always doing the right thing and you are on the side of dharma or righteousness, then no matter whatever the outcome is, obviously the outcome is going to be the right, which is meant to be good for you and your society. But then again, it will come back to the same thing. You don't have to fear, because you know that you are on the side of dharma, you are on the side of righteousness, and you're going to do the outcome will always be good, which will be beneficial to the society.
Thank you so much. That's such an important point. And we discussed that through Duryodhana's ungodly analysis. Duryodhana was on the side of adharma, although very powerful. He had great soldiers on his side, very, very powerful army on his side. But still, dharma was not on his side. Krishna was not on his side. And although Pandavas were few in number, fewer in strength, and we've discussed the comparison of the Timingala fish and the little fig, if you remember. But the dharma was on their side. Krishna was on their side. And wherever there is Krishna, there is certainly victory. So thank you. So now we will move on to the prayers to the Acharyas. And today is the disappearance day of Srila Madhvacharya, who is one of the Acharyas in our parampara. Parampara means disciplic succession. So let's offer prayers to invoke their blessings. Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine
Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So thank you once again for those who joined a little later for joining. And today we will start with text number 1.20. Anyone has any questions? Okay, maybe we'll cover that as that towards the end. So now what has happened so far? So far, Arjuna has till this point actually, Sanjay is narrating the situation on the battlefield of Kurukshetra or Dharmashetra. And Duryodhana approaches his teacher, Dronacharya, and kind of shares who is on their side, who is on our side. And then the conches were blown. When the conches on the side of Kauravas were blown, nothing happened to the Pandavas. And we discussed that point as well. But when Pandavas' conches, especially Krishna's transcendental conch shell Panchajanya was blown, the hearts shattered of Kauravas. Why? If we are on the wrong side, then our heart will shatter in front of the right person, correct? If we have done something wrong in life, when we go towards God, don't we feel bad? Don't our heart feels, God, I did this wrong. But that only will happen once we have some sense of integrity or honesty towards God. But Duryodhana did not even have that. But the outcome of Dharmashetra, there's so many factors from the beginning itself which showed that the victory will be on the side of Pandavas. Krishna's presence on the side of Pandavas, the war happening at Dharmashetra, the transcendental conch shells of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the shattering of the hearts of the Kauravas. All these were different signs, and we will see some more signs from the beginning itself of the victory of the Pandavas. But again, to the point, if one is spiritually blind, one cannot see that. One cannot see that, like, the classic example, Ravana. So much good counsel was given. One after the other, his own people, his children, his friends were getting killed in the battle. And same happened with the Duryodhana as well. Later in Mahabharata, later in this war, one after the other, the 99 brothers were killed, but still he did not want to kind of bend down because of pride, because of false ego, because of spiritual blindness. Neither did Dhritarashtra want to bend down, nor did Duryodhana, both representing spiritual blindness. So now we kind of take a separate, like the camera is moving to a new topic after the Duryodhana's ungodly analysis. Let's see what happens from text number 20 onwards. So there are quite a few verses. We will, okay, let's see the first verse, at least the Sanskrit as well. Atha vyavasthitan drishtva dhartrashtra'n kapi dhvajaha pravritte shastra sampate dhanu udyamya pandavaha vishikesham tada vakyam idam aha mahipate. Yashoda Mataji, would you like to read translation?
Hare Krishna. At the time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words.
Thank you so much. So here we see the Arjuna's chariot was marked with the flag bearing with Hanuman. So the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman. That's another sign of victory,
of Pandavas. Because Prabhupada mentions this in the purport that wherever there is Hanuman, guess who is present there? Anyone? Any guess?
Lord Ram.
Yes, Lord Ram is present. And wherever there is Lord Ram, guess who is present?
Hanuman.
Hanuman.
Lord Krishna.
Mother Sita.
Mata Sita, yes. Prabhupada mentions that as well. So, and wherever Lord Ram is, his eternal servant and his eternal consort, Mata Sita, is also present, the goddess of fortune. So the goddess of fortune personally is present with Arjuna. So how can there be misfortune in the lives of those who follow the path of Dharma, whose chariot is marked with the symbol of Hanuman? And Hanuman was the brother actually of Bhima. It's a long story, but in short, I'll just share that once upon a time, Bhima was in the forest when the Pandavas were exiled in the forest. So Bhima met this monkey, this big monkey. And the monkey, Bhima said, well, hey, I want to, cross over, move your tail aside. And Hanuman, Bhima didn't know that he's Hanuman. He said, well, I'm too old. You move the tail aside. Bhima said, well, I have strength of 10,000 elephants. We discussed that. One arm has 10,000 elephant strength. He could easily move anything. But Hanuman is no ordinary person either. So he tried all his might with both his hands and all his body's energy. He couldn't move even the tail. And then he understood that this monkey is no ordinary monkey. And then he said, oh, great personality, please tell who you are. And then Hanuman revealed his real identity. And then both the brothers, they're sons of Vayuputra. And actually Acharya is also the son of Vayu in one way, the incarnation. So they both embraced, and then Hanuman said, when the war of Kurukshetra will happen, that's a different yuga from Treta Yuga to have come to Dwapar Yuga. So Ramayana happened in the Treta Yuga. So in the next yuga, now Hanumanji supported in this way by doing war cries to shatter the hearts of the opponents or the enemies. So that's a sweet story. Again, a sign that the victory will be there. Krishna is present, Dharma is present. The devotees are present on the side of Dharma. So one should not fear when Krishna is near, when the devotees are near. Why fear when God is near, right? That's a real godly analysis. Ungodly people think my bank balance will save me, my degrees will save me. But are they really fearless? No. There is a lot of fear in their hearts. But a simple devotee may not have a lot of material things. That is all secondary. May not have. But a devotee is fearless. Prabhupada's name is Abhay Charanar Inda. One who takes shelter of Krishna is really fearless. So that's a great lesson here. And also a great lesson is Hanuman's humility. Hanuman didn't say, well, you know how much strength I have, and you have put me on this flag this time. You know what all I did in Treta Yuga, how many demons I killed, what I was the big hero. Right? He was the great hero. He did so many things. Practically, like any story is incomplete without Hanuman. In the war, or from searching Mata Sita, crossing over the ocean, so many stories. But now he's doing a very humble service, right? Now Arjuna is the main hero. So often in life, sometimes we may do front-end service, sometimes we may do back-end service. But a humble person is not affected by those situations. Humble person is attached to seva, is attached to the mood of seva, not to, oh, I will only do X service, not Y service. Or how can you give me back-end service where no one is seeing me? Why Arjuna is getting this main recognition this time? Hanuman was very, very humble. So that's a sweet lesson here. We'll move on to the next verse, text number 21 and 2. It's a very, very important, a kind of a turning point here. Arjuna uvacha senayorubhayor madhye ratham sthapya me achyuta yavadetan niriksheham yodhu kaman avasthitan Kermaya saha yodhavyam asmin rane samudyame. It's Kriti Mataji, want to read the translation? Kriti Mataji, please. Yeah, please unmute and read.
Arjuna said, Hare Krishna. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may
Yeah, I may see. Yeah.
I must see who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in the gayest trial of arms.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So now just imagine this great fight is about to happen. Both the sides are completely ready. Everyone is completely ready. Lot of peace negotiation attempts had already been made by the Pandavas, by the Supreme Lord. But we discussed that also, that the Kauravas said, we will not give the land equivalent to the tip of the needle. What to speak of giving 5 villages when Krishna asked on behalf of Pandavas. So in short, there was no question of any peace, because again, spiritual blindness. Spiritually, people who are spiritually blind, they just see that they are right. They don't see any good in others. They don't try to understand others. They want just people to do my way or highway. So, but Arjuna is quite rational. It is a very big decision to fight, and Arjuna is doing what he's saying. I want to see, I want to analyze, I want to do nirikshana. Yavat etan nirikshreham. I want nirikshan in Sanskrit basically means I want to analyze, I want to look who all are present, So in one way, there is good to it, to analyze one's decisions before executing those, to analyze one's words before speaking, because they have a lot of impact. But on the other side, it is also showing a little bit uncertainty in the mind of Arjuna. Just imagine a big, like a World Cup final is about to happen, and then the batsman or the main captain feels uncertain. Well, let me think. Should I, should I really play this match? Should I really do my best? He's thinking, well, what will happen? What will not happen? So something like that. Arjuna is analyzing this. And the word used for describing Krishna is Achyuta. Achyuta means infallible, the one who never fails to keep the promise of his devotees, or the one who never fails to protect his devotees. That's the Achyuta. We are Achyuta, we are fallible. Sometimes we may make a promise and then next day it may break. Oh, I will do XYZ thing every week. And then like New Year resolutions, a lot of resolutions, and then very soon they end up in dissolution. So, but Krishna is Achyuta, he's infallible. And he's infallible to protect his devotees. Like how Nrsimhadev protected his devotee Prahlad, how Lord Ram protected his devotees, and how Krishna protected his devotees Arjuna, etc. And one more point here is, what is the position of Krishna? What role is he playing here? Anyone? Yes, charioteer. Yes, he's a chariot driver, correct? In short, in modern day, we can say he's a driver.
He's a driver.
So, is it a very great position? Who wants to become, like people will ask, okay, I want to become a pilot, I want to become an engineer, I want to become a cricketer. Will anyone say, I want to become a bus driver? Probably not, right? That's not the ambition for, especially like in here, US, maybe things may be different, but in India, if you ask, a standard response, they'll say, I want doctor, engineer, lawyer, things like that. No one will say, I want to become auto driver, right? Will anyone say? Not really. So the point is that although we respect everyone, not for what work they're doing, but as a person. But the point here is that it's not a very, it's a humble position. It's the position of a servant. Krishna took the position of a servant for serving his devotee. This is a very interesting point. In today's day and age, will any kind of us or try to say, well, my dear kind of employee, you have done a lot of good service today. I want to drive, I want to become your servant. I will drive you wherever you say. and in the war time, there was no indicator. Left, we drive cars, we give left indicator or right indicator, correct? To give the signal to that how we want to go left or right. In the time of war, there was no indicator. Okay? The charioteer would kick the chariot driver on the left, and then that's a sign to go left. The charioteer, the passenger would kick the driver to the right, and it's a sign to go right. So just imagine the Supreme Lord is ready to receive the instructions. Arjuna is saying, hey, driver, please take my car in the middle of the two armies, right? That's what he's exactly saying in this verse. Please take my chariot in the middle of the two armies. I want to analyze. And what does Krishna say? Okay, sir, we will do it. So, so Bhakta Vatsala. Krishna is the life and soul for his devotees, and devotees are life and soul for the Supreme Lord. That's a very, very important point. Like how a mother holds the baby very close to the heart, that's called Vakshasthala. Krishna holds his devotees very close to him because he never leaves them. No matter the devotee may leave, but the Lord will never leave. That's his promise. That if once one says that, oh my Lord, I am yours, the Lord will never leave such a person. So that's the situation here. Arjuna is a little bit uncertain. All the warriors from different worlds are present, and then the Lord is happy to be controlled by his devotees. So that's what we see here. So, and we shared that picture also. So how much the Lord wants to serve his devotees. So let's move on to the next verse, text 23. Yotsimānam avikṣeham yaete atra samāgataha dhartarashtasya durbuddhe yuddhe priyachi kirshavaha. Yes, Khushi Mataji, you want to read? Translation. Okay, anyone else wants? Sampada Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Thank you. Haribol.
Thank you so much. So this is quite straightforward that Arjuna wants to, Krishna drove the chariot, and Arjuna, upon Arjuna's request, Arjuna wants to see who all have come, and text number, this is 23, correct? So he wants to analyze. So in life, the practical lesson is, it's good to analyze. It's good to especially consult the big decisions we are about to make. So that's the takeaway here, that we should analyze, especially the bigger decisions, because sometimes it's after that we can't, undo things. The words spoken out cannot be undone. The actions performed cannot be undone most times. Even though they are undone, they still leave a scar. So it's often good to analyze, to estimate, which Arjuna is showing. Even in the midst of such a difficult situation, just imagine the war is about to begin. The conch shells have already been blown, right? The war is about to begin, but Arjuna is still trying to estimate. So let's see what happens. The one point is, in the whole chapter 1, Arjuna is analyzing, or Duryodhana is analyzing Krishna is just saying, okay, I'll do what you say. Okay, you want me to take? Let's see what happens. Text 24. Sanjaya uvacha eva mukto rishikesho gudakeshan bharata senayorubayor madhye sthapitvā rathottamam. Yes, Avani, want to read?
Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjun, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very nice. So here, if we observe carefully, lot of names are used for Krishna, lot of names are used for Arjuna as well. So here the name used for Arjuna is Gudakesha. Gudak means ignorance, and Isha means master. So one who has mastered over ignorance. Very, very important word here. And Prabhupada mentions a devotee can conquer ignorance. How? Simply by taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. And what is the biggest ignorance? Any thoughts? What is the biggest ignorance?
Thinking that I am this body.
Thinking that I am this body. Very nice.
Sleep.
Yes, sleep is also a form of ignorance, but we have to do the dutiful sleep. We should not oversleep. So, and this, things in relation to body or mind, life is meant to enjoy, eat, sleep, and be merry. All these are modern kind of, the modern so-called work hard, party harder, just enjoy. Who cares about tomorrow? Life is all, this is all in all. There is no tomorrow, there is no rebirth, just enjoy. This is the modern conception. This is all the big ignorance. Just to understand this body, I am this body, and the goal of life is to enjoy as much as possible and forget about tomorrow. Okay? Take loans, take credit cards, beg, borrow, or steal, but enjoy. It's all ignorance. But we may be forgetful of the laws. Like a child may not know that the putting hand in the fire will burn, but will the fire excuse the child? No or no? No. Okay, everyone says no. Good. So that's the point. So how can we overcome ignorance? Prabhupada is mentioning by thinking about Krishna constantly in the purport. Arjuna had overcame sleep and ignorance. Gudak means ignorance. So if we take shelter of Krishna, if we read Bhagavad Gita, our ignorance of nescience or lack of knowledge or darkness will be removed through the light of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I establish in the heart of such a devotee and enlighten the lamp of knowledge. We read this prayer also. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. So, Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Krishna, through the spiritual master, through Bhagavad Gita, will enlighten our vision to see things properly so that we don't remain spiritually blind, so that we don't remain in the illusion of ignorance, and we also become Gudakesha. And now, interestingly, Krishna drew the chariot right in front of two personalities. And that will come in the next verse. But right in the front of Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama. So we will discuss why also. But this is very, very important verse. The lesson is to overcome the ignorance of nescience. Looks like someone has a comment or someone wants to share something. Renu Mataji, you want to unmute it to say something?
No, I'm sorry, by mistake. No, it's a mistake. No, I'm sorry.
Text 25. So now Sanjay is speaking. Okay, text 24 onward, Sanjay is speaking. And whom is he speaking to? Anyone? Yes,
Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra. Very nice. Very nice. Good. And how is he able to speak? They're 100 miles away at least.
By the blessings of Veda, Vyasji.
Yes, his spiritual master. Vyasa Prasadat, we discussed in the first class. Okay, text 25. Bhishma Drona Pramukhataha Sarvesham cha Mahishitam Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan Samavetan Kurun iti. Okay, would someone like to read? Abhishek Prabhu, want to read this one? Please raise your hand if anyone would like to read, so I can go and flow. Yes, Abhishek, you read this one. And next way they will read.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, "Just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here."
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So, as I was mentioning, Krishna specifically drew the chariot right in the middle where Bhishma and Drona were present. And both of these personalities were very, very dear to Krishna. Sorry, Arjuna, of course, to Krishna as well, because they are devotees and devotees are very dear to Krishna. And so was Arjuna and Pandavas to Dronacharya and Bhishma as well. Bhishma Pitama is the grandfather and Dronacharya is the teacher. And who was the favorite student of Dronacharya? Arjuna. And Bhishma Pitama being the grandfather and their father, Pandu, was dead. We discussed that. So they were kind of fatherless. So the grandfather had more affection towards them and they were being tortured a lot by the Duryodhana and party. So, and Bhishma knew all this, but still and tried his best, but we discussed spiritual blindness. Duryodhana and party didn't want to listen. So right in the middle, right in front, he said, okay, behold, just behold, Partha, especially see your grandfather, see your teacher. Why? The question may come, why? Because there were 11 Akshani Senas, millions of soldiers were present. Why right in front of them? So that Krishna wanted to drive out the kind of attachment, the familial attachment in the heart or the weakness of heart. Well, the question may come, how can a great devotee like Arjuna have weakness of heart? That's a great question. Because Krishna wanted to speak Bhagavad Gita. Partho vatsa sudhir bhogda dugdam gita mritam pibir. If Krishna would not put his devotee in this situation, how would that message of Bhagavad Gita come out? So it's like a transcendental drama where Arjuna is now going to feel weak, uncertain, doubtful, morose. And that's the chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. That's the Sanskrit title, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So he's confused and he will be confused later. And why all this? So that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, can tell for our benefit. If you remember in the first class, we discussed the example of a show, an online show or like a talk show, where different doctors are coming and the host is asking questions. Remember that example? Sometimes the host may ask, okay, what about the symptoms of corona? What about the symptoms of high blood pressure? What about the symptoms of cancer? What about the symptoms of how can we prevent it? What precautions we can take? Does the host have all those impurities or all those diseases? No. He's asking for the benefit of the audiences. If he doesn't ask those questions, if he doesn't put himself in that situation, how will the doctor speak? So Krishna is like an expert doctor here, and Arjuna is like a patient or trying to act as a patient so that the other patients, like ourselves who are true patients, they can receive the true nectar of Bhagavad Gita. So that's in this text number 25 to observe. So now let's move on to 26. We'll just read the translation. Anyone wants? Yes, Vedi, you wanted to read, please.
Krishna. There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers.
Wow, isn't this amazing? It was a multi-generational fight. So there are grandfathers present, like Bhishma, teachers present, like Dronacharya. We discussed that as well. There are brothers present, like Duryodhana. There are uncles and grandsons and father-in-law and well-wishers. So it was a very, very huge battle. And Arjuna is going into the mode of uncertainty because of Krishna's divine arrangement, like a transcendental drama. All that is happening now. So let's see what happens next. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. So Arjuna is overwhelmed with compassion. Compassion is a good sign. Soft-heartedness is a good sign. But when it is wrongly applied, it may lead to wrong. For example, sometimes one may feel very compassionate upon someone, and it's like compassion without proper intelligence could lead to bad, right? Can anyone give any example of that? Compassion without proper intelligence can lead to harm. Just good intentions are not sufficient. Okay? Just good intentions or good soft-heartedness is not sufficient. Analyzing situations by our own self is not sufficient. And we will see in chapter 2, actually, Krishna Prabhupada will explain what is real compassion. So, okay. So let's see text 28. What did Arjuna speak? What did Arjuna speak when he saw all these different friends, relatives, and grandfathers, etc.? Arjuna uvacha drishtve mam swajanam Krishna yutsum samupasthitam sidanti mam gatrani mukham cha parishushati. Would someone like to read this one? Avinash, oh, Karina wants to read. Okay, Karina, please go ahead.
Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up." Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So what has happened now? Krishna has put Arjuna into illusion. So limbs, the body limbs, the hands are shaking, the mouth is drying up. So all these bodily symptoms are because of the emotional uncertainty. Sometimes we are nervous and our hands shake, right? Like, for example, first public speaking. Anyone may have felt that, like the hands shake and the legs shake, right? No one is doing anything to us, but sometimes emotional highs and lows lead to these bodily symptoms as well. So Arjuna is in that state. Arjuna is quite uncertain, full of compassion, full of soft-heartedness, and his hands and limbs are shaking and quivering, and the mouth is drying up, and this is because of his soft-heartedness. So Prabhupada gives a very nice purport that devotee should be soft-hearted. That's a good quality, that devotee should be soft-hearted. And one who has unflinching faith, all the good qualities come. One who has unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, all the divine qualities come. These days, people kill so many animals, right? There is lack of compassion, lack of mercy. But Arjuna is feeling compassion. He doesn't want to kill his people. So killing is often not a very good idea. But in this situation, we will discuss how Krishna will refute his arguments later in chapter 2. But Arjuna, being a devotee, is soft-hearted. And soft-hearted person does not want to cause unnecessary harm. Okay, that's a very key takeaway. We should not cause unnecessary harm to anyone, either through physical actions or through words or through emotions. And that's the principle of mercy, or to show compassion or daya. And that comes from soft-heartedness. If we would not like to be harmed, right? Any one of us would like to be harmed by others? No. We want to be treated by respect and dignity and proper words, and we would not like to be harmed physically, emotionally, mentally. So we should also try to understand that we should not harm others, whether they are other human beings or are other animals. We should treat them with compassion and with soft-heartedness. So that's and one who is a devotee will certainly get these wonderful qualities of soft-heartedness. Okay, so let's see what happens in the next verse, which is text number 29. Okay, yes, Avinash-ji, you can read this one. Avinash, you want to read?
My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow, Gandiva, is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So again, these are different symptoms of Prabhupada is mentioning because of material conception of life. The last line Prabhupada mentions, material conception of life. And what is that material conception? We discussed in this text 28 here. What was happening? Drishtve mam swajanam Krishna. Swajana. Swa means self. Jana means people. So Arjuna is thinking, well, these are my people. So one who has the material conception of life or ignorance, well, Arjuna is Gunakesha, but now he is put into ignorance so that the message can be delivered to all of us, because all of us, think like that. Like in Arjuna's bewildered state, not in Arjuna's enlightened state. Arjuna is acting as an ordinary being to reflect our state. And what does an ordinary person think like? He'll think, well, I need to take care of myself and my family. That's it. I don't care about the world. I and my family should be good, right? Or sometimes extended family. Oh, I am from North India, so I am Punjabi. All Punjab, I'll take care of the Punjab. Or I am from India, I'll take care of the Indians. Or I'm from South India, so I'll take care of the South Indian community. Rest all don't matter. They live or die, who cares? That's called selfish mentality. Swajana. But when Srila Prabhupada came to United States, he didn't think of like this selfish me. He was happy in Vrindavan. What need he had to come? But he could not see the suffering of others. Great souls cannot see the suffering of others, and they want to help the whole world. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Vasudheva Kutumbakam. They don't think, oh, it is my family and it is his family. This was the mentality of the Dhritarashtra in the first verse. Mamaka Pandavaishcheva. What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? That's called selfish mentality. That's separatist mentality. I just need to worry about my own self. Well, the other world dies or lives, I don't care. That's selfish mentality. That's Swajana. And that's the material conception of life. And all these doubts, the Gandiva slipping, the mouth trembling, the hands shaking, skin is burning, Gandiva is slipping, and my hairs are standing because of the wrong conception of life. And what is that wrong conception? That it's just me and mine. I don't care about anyone. That conception will lead us to depression, we'll never be happy. we'll never be happy with that selfish state. We may get some temporary things, but long term, if we want, we should be broad-minded. We should be broad-minded and respect everyone as one's family. So that's what is mentioned here, text number 29. So we can move to text 30. So let's see what happens. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I'm forgetting myself. My mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. Oh Krishna, the killer of Keshi demon. So here, interestingly, Krishna has been addressed as Keshava, the killer of Keshi demon. To kill my doubt, to kill my demon of doubt. Doubts are like demons. And Viparita, in the shloka it's mentioned, Na shaknoshi avastum brahmitva cha me manaha nimitta cha pashyami vipritani keshava. Well, what is the reason we are fighting? To get happiness, to get the kingdom. But I don't think this is going to happen. Rather, after fighting, we will be miserable because we'll kill all our own people, our teachers, our guru. Even if we win, then that's what is happening. Viparit means opposite. So why should we fight, O Keshava? I think we should not fight. So this is what is Arjuna's state going on. Because if we fight, Viparit will happen, opposite will happen. And Prabhupada mentions very nice point. Excessive attachment to material things puts a man or a woman in such a bewildering condition of existence. How does all that happen? Excessive attachment to me, my own family, my gadgets, my property, my wealth, my car, my this, iPhone, iPad, I music, I don't know, I. The root cause is I, me and mine, aham, ameti. And one forgets that I am just an insignificant particle in this universe, correct? This is such a big universe. Brahmaji has millions of years of lifetime, trillions of, and kind of, his lifespan is like millions and trillions of times bigger than ours. We are nothing. Just imagine, whatever our city is, there are, in Krishna's creation, 3/4 is spiritual world, 1/4 is material world. In that 1/4, there are unlimited universes, countless. In that, there is our tiny universe. In that, there are 14 planetary systems. In that, we are in the Bhumandala. In that, we are in the Bharat Varsha. In that, we are in that tiny earth. In that, we are in the tiny continent, whether we are in India or Asia, US, wherever we are. It has so many states have so many cities, and then sub-counties and whatnot, and that's so many homes, divisions, and roads. In that, there's a tiny home, and then I claim to be the Lord of the world. So, how excessive attachment to material things puts one in bewildering state. One who is, that doesn't mean that we have to give up our job, give up our family, give up our home. The point is we have to give up the selfish propensity to be the independent enjoyer. That's the spirit we need to take care. And understand that I'm just a medium. I have my role to do in the whatever span of life I have, and I'll do my best and try to achieve the goal of life. Try to understand the goal of life through Bhagavad Gita and try to achieve it. So this is a very interesting verse, text number 31. Nacha shreyo anupashyami hatva swajanma avai na kanshe vijayan Krishna nacha rajyam sukhani cha. Yes, Kushi Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness.
Thank you so much. So Arjuna is basically sharing his thoughts that I don't see anything good happening. The word used is Shreya. there are two words, Shreyas and Preyas. Shreyas means long-term good, and Preyas means immediate good, even if it is suffering at the end. I'll give an example. If the child continues to play whole day, correct? Will the child like it? Most children will be happy about it, correct? Sahas is giving thumbs up, right? And be honest, yeah, that's fine. Good, thank you, right? Child will like it. That's Preyas, right? But will long term it will be good for the child? No. Thank you, Sahas. So long term it will lead to bad. Why? All what's that? Whole day if we are playing, there's no point of education, no time to study, no time to do homework, no time to understand Bhagavad Gita. If we just play, then it's not good. And the future would be bad, correct? So that's called prayas. Like if someone likes to eat chocolate, they eat one chocolate, two chocolate, everyday chocolate. Will that person like it if they like chocolates? Yes? Most of you will say yes. What is that, Shreyas or Preyas? It's Preyas, right? That's Preyas. Because immediately they may feel, wow, it tastes nice and this and that. But long term, what will happen? Maybe different diseases will come, tooth problems and cavities and sugar and whatnot will come eventually. If one every day eats like 2 chocolates and 3 chocolates, and then one has to pay the price of one's action. Very simple, correct? So similarly, like same with doing exercise or doing yoga, one may not like it, right? Well, why should I can watch TV whole day, or I can waste my time in some other things. So the bad things in a conditioned state may appear to be natural, correct? We naturally go towards the bad side, but to uplift ourselves, we have to make a conscious effort, correct? Like studying, like doing some Bhagavad Gita. We have to make a conscious effort. With Facebook and YouTube and other gossip and entertainment kind of thing, people naturally go there. No one gives a class how to watch things on Facebook, how to watch gossip on YouTube. People naturally go there, right? Most of you are, I can see a yes through your smiles. But to study Bhagavad Gita, we have to make a conscious attempt. And we may sometimes, it may be a little kind of hard. The mind will say, well, just relax, just skip today, don't worry. I'll just watch the recording, and the recording you can watch, but it's not that serious. But the impact is not the same as we are hearing live. So the point is, we have to choose Shreyas or Preyas. So Shreyas is, it's immediately, it may be a little challenging, like the child studying. It may be a little challenge, but long term they will be good, right? And Preyas is, immediately it may seem to be very nice. Wow, let's do it. But long term it will lead to more problems. We discuss few examples as well. So Shreyas and Preyas. So Arjuna is saying, Nacha Shreyo. I don't see any long-term good in this fight. Rather, I see opposite. So better we should not fight him. That's what kind of he's telling. And all these reasons because of his compassion towards the family members. And nor can I desire any victory or happiness in this whole situation. So without knowing one's self-interest, nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. If one just thinks, what is in it for me? What is in it? How I can be happy? Forget about the whole world. Then one will not make good decisions in life. We have to see the holistic picture. So we have to understand what will please Krishna. Because I may sometimes choose prayers. If a child is given the full authority, will any child, or except for maybe 1 or 2 rare species, every child will choose, I want to just play whole day, right? No one will say, I want to study whole day. Or no one will say, I want to study. But therefore, we need guide. The parents are like guide. The Bhagavad Gita is like guide. Teachers are like the guide who help the child to make right choices. But here, Arjuna is just speaking. Krishna is watching. Okay, here is you wanted me to take the chariot in the middle of the armies? Okay, here you go. And now Arjuna is doing his an analysis. And in Arjuna's analysis also, he's doing everything by his own right now. Okay, he's just sharing. Krishna is hearing. So let's see the next verse, 32 to 35. Kim no Rajan, it's a long verse, but we'll still read it. Kim no Rajena Govinda, Kim Bhoga. Sorry, you cannot read that one. I'll put this one. Sorry. Kim no Rajena Govinda, Kim Bhoge Jivitena va. Yesham arthe kanshitam no Rajam Bhoga Sukhani cha. ताइमे अवस्थिता युद्धे प्राणं त्यक्त्वा धनानि च आचार्य पित्रा पुत्रैस्तथैव च पितामह मातुला स्वशुरा पुत्रा स्वलः स्वालः सम्बन्धिनस्तथा एतान्नाहन्तुमिच्छामि घन्तोऽपि मधुसूदन अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतो किं नु मही कृते निहत्या धृतराष्ट्रान्नान् का प्रीतिस्य जनार्दना. Yes, Babu Prabhu, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Translation. O Govinda, of what avail to us our kingdom, happiness, or even life itself when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, son, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-laws, grandson, brother-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So here, the reason Arjuna is giving for not killing is there will be no happiness or no enjoyment by killing one's own relatives, right? So even if we get the kingdom, whom will we enjoy with, correct? It's like, let's say, you have the best place to go to, whether it's your favorite vacation spot but you're all by yourself. How many of you would like to go there? There is no one, you're by yourself, whether it's like Disneyland or you're all by yourself, just solo, right? Anyone like to go? All by yourself, no relative, no friend, no family, no nothing. That's what Arjuna is saying. Quite logical, correct? Quite logical. So what pleasure will we derive from killing our own sons, our brothers, our cousins, our grandfather, our teachers? They're all our own kinsmen. They're all my people. Thinking about me and mine. Arjuna is put into that illusion. So a very, very important verse which Prabhupada elaborates is O Govinda. Go means cows, Gomata, and Go also means senses, Goswami, right? We have used the word Goswami. Go means senses also. Swami means master. The master of the senses, or one who has controlled one's senses, is also called Goswami. Or Govinda here refers to one who maintains the cows and the senses. So Arjuna, in short, is telling us a very, very practical lesson, and this will be the last lesson for today. Arjuna is approaching Krishna and giving a lot of wonderful reasons and basically telling, hey, Govinda, you are the protector of the senses. You are the master of the senses. And I just want you to say yes to my senses or to my mind or to my thoughts. Many, many times we approach our teacher, and raise your hand if you have ever felt that kind of situation. We have already made up our mind what we want to do, and we give very rational, points, very logical points that, if we do this, this will happen, And all we want to hear from our teachers, from our guru, from our superiors is for them to say, yes, you are doing right. And has anyone felt that? Anyone done that? Or all we want to hear is them to say, yes, you are doing right. What you're thinking is right. Go ahead and do it. Anyone? Many times that happens. But that's not a great thing, because we are just approaching them for the sake of approaching. Correct? We have already made up our mind. We already know what we intend to do. We already feel that my analysis is best analysis. We are not open to what that teacher wants to say. So Arjuna basically wants the stamp of his decision that I should not fight. Krishna, you just tell me. And Krishna has not yet spoken anything. Right? Krishna has not yet spoken. We will see when Krishna will speak, and that will be maybe in the next session. But that mood will not take us anywhere. That mood will alienate us from good advice. That mood will not allow the teacher to speak good for us. If we have already made up our mind, if we have already made up our decision, and we just want a rubber stamp approval, that's not a healthy mood to approach a spiritual master or a guru or a teacher or any well-wisher. If we really want good counsel, then we should see how Arjuna will do in text number 7 of chapter 2. We will come to that. If we, at this point, Krishna is just hearing, okay, this is your analysis. You already know what is right, okay, then why I should bother, correct? So it's a very important lesson here in this text. So the word Govinda, the word Madhusudana is also used, the killer of the Madhu demon. So Arjuna, in short, wants to take guidance, but still not the right mood of guidance. And if we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then by the grace of Govinda, all the desires of the living entity will be satisfied. Very, very important. If we try to please Krishna, the Supreme Lord, then we will automatically be happy. All our desires will be fulfilled. It's a very, very important lesson. So these are some of the lessons till text number 35. Now let's see, there are still about 9 more verses which we may not be able to cover today. So in the next class or the next session, actually there are 11 more verses. I'll just briefly share some of the other reasons which Arjuna is giving, and then you can do as a reading at your end. That Arjuna then shares in text number 36 that if we kill, that sin will come. If we kill our own people, killing will lead to sin. And killing is not a very good idea. It's better to be killed than to kill these people or to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra. And misfortune will come. So multiple reasons he gives. So fear of sinful reactions, that's another third one. If we kill them, then the sin will come and the family values will be destroyed. The woman will be unprotected. Who will do the rites for the forefathers? Who will offer the oblations, etc. to the forefathers? The culture will be destroyed. So these are some of the other reasons also which Arjuna gives, and we will get sinful reactions of killing. Yes, killing has sinful reaction, but if it is done for dharma, it is not. So let's take some reflections or some comments before, and let's see any questions, comments, reflections anyone has in this what we have discussed so far today till text number 35 or 36. Anyone wants to share anything? Yes, please.
Prabhuji, I have a question. Arjuna is referred as Gudakesh. So the position of ignorance that he was placed into, was it just at the time of the war or was it even before?
This was at the time of war. This message was to be given. to all of us. And as I said, Krishna specifically drew the attachment drew the chariot between where Bhishma and Drona were present to bring out that familial affection. So a transcendental drama, we can say, because Arjuna is not a person like us who comes to the material world. Arjuna they are the eternal associates of the Lord. Let's say a big president or prime minister travels from one country to the other. All his entourage goes with him. So similarly, when Krishna appears, his entourage, like his mother, father, friends, etc., they go with him. Not because and we are into this world for a separate reason, for our conditioned state, for our desire to enjoy. So coming back to your question, this was specifically set up, and Prabhupada, if you will read, you will see that Prabhupada is clearly mentioning that Arjuna was put into illusion for the message of Bhagavad Gita to be spoken. Thank you. Anyone else has any other comments, any reflections, any questions? Any additions? Yes, please unmute and share.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Rashmi, please.
I liked to understand about the compassion. Compassion by default, we all think, oh, it's good to have compassion. Compassion is good. But we never thought about the next level of compassion, really. So I would, I'm waiting to know more about it, as you said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Prabhupada mentions that compassion for the saving the cloth of a drowning person. Is that a very good idea? If a person is drowning and has wearing a very expensive, let's say, coat, suit, and we are very compassionate, well, this person is drowning, and we end up saving the suit, a couple of $100 or something, whatever it costs. Is that a very good idea? No, the person has drowned. Similarly, the compassion on just the bodily level is not real compassion. For example, if a person is, let's say, kind of feeling cold or feeling, a lot of people do these charitable activities, which is all fine, but they're all on the level of body. Like some people distribute blankets, some people distribute prasadam, some people distribute food, and some people distribute even meat, thinking that will give them nutrition, thinking that will give them food. But the point is, lack of knowledge in trying to help others would lead to more harm, right? For example, there was a story where a person, this child was not supposed to eat anything oily, because if anyone feeds him anything oily, the person would die. Somehow he had a disease like that. And his brother was eating aloo paratha, which everyone likes. Most people like it. So, and then this boy said, well, I also want to eat aloo paratha. And then the mother knows that if he eats aloo paratha, it has oil and it will lead to harm. And the boy is crying and crying and crying. Oh, mother, you don't really love me. Give me this, I really want, and crying and throwing tantrums, and I really want. The mother is saying, no. The little boy can't understand what, disease and all that stuff. But finally, the mother, because of soft-heartedness, kind of ends up giving him. And then his disease gets very worse. So would that be true compassion? No, right? You all say no. So just compassion on the bodily level, first of all, we have to really understand what is true compassion and how can we do something to solve the real problem. not just solving the immediate symptom. Like if there's a boil here, let's say on my hand, and Prabhupada gives this example. If I put some ointment here, then the boil comes on this hand. Put an ointment here, the boil comes on the head. You put the ointment here, it goes to the leg. So is giving that ointment the real solution? No. A true person will try to understand, well, giving just the bodily needs is not real compassion. But helping that person so that that person does not have to take birth in this repeated cycle of birth and death, like means saving the soul, is true compassion. So it's a big topic and then there are a lot of details to it, but for now we'll just keep it there. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other comments, any additions? Anyone like to share anything before we kind of pause today, or please
Hare
unmute and
Krishna.
speak. Yes, yes,
Hare
please.
Krishna. In text number 29, it was me and mine leads to depression. We should be broad-minded. But as like a mother and a teacher, I am fixed to this towards me and mine. I could not come out of it. Sometimes, not always.
Yes, we are. I mean, you're honest, and most majority of the population is in that category. But therefore, we are trying to read Bhagavad Gita to understand what should be our true behavior, what should we do to be truly happy, because that me and mine will not lead us to true happiness. So Bhagavad Gita is like a manual, and all these changes are not, as we discussed, Bhagavad Gita is Vyavahar Shastra. That means it's a way to apply these teachings. It's not just to read, and reading is easy. Reading, it doesn't take a lot. Like reading, anyone can read, but applying those teachings is not easy. But we have to sincerely try to read, understand, and apply. Information should lead to transformation of heart. Just information of memorizing verses and all that, and just knowing, oh, Bhagavad 700 verses, I know all the verses, that will not lead to big impact. As we discussed the last time also, there's a recipe book, 500 recipes. A person may memorize all the recipes, but one person comes and applies in one recipe and makes simple rice, which serves a few people. That's more beneficial. So yes, you're honest. Yes, we are not yet there, but we have a desire to improve, and we try in our small aspect, right? We try it in our small aspect and try to like help others, like how you shared, I think you shared books with your students. So that's a great sign that you are thinking beyond your immediate family and you are trying to think of their benefit. So that's a good sign, and slowly we'll get there. You have to keep trying, keep taking guidance of our teachers, keep taking guidance of Bhagavad Gita, and keep executing these principles, and we will slowly and surely get there. Any other comments, any other additions, reflections, or questions? Anyone wants to add or share anything? Okay, so I just want to remind everyone again, for those who joined later, to please fill this. I'm sharing it again because, as I said before, I like to build long-term relationships, where we can not just come for the class and buy. I want to deepen the relationship and I'm available of any service I can be. So if you could fill these two small, the one is the record of Bhagavad Gita, which marks who are attending, and we will give certificate also at the completion of this course. We'll give certificate to all the people or devotees who are joining either online or who are hearing the offline mode and doing the required reading as well. So please carry on your reading as well every week. And so next week you can read till text number 39. And next week we'll complete this chapter, and also I'll be sharing the whole chapter in a very simple way with an acronym of doubt. Okay, that's the acronym. So if you want to hear what's in that acronym, make sure you come. And again, sharing is caring. So please, this is real compassion, right? To share the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita with others. So please share with your friends, relatives, neighbors, colleagues, and you will feel happy. You'll certainly feel happy, because that's broad-mindedness. That if I have got something nice, if I am getting benefit out of this Bhagavad Gita, and why don't I share? If you have something good and you're broad-minded, then we will share with others, because we want everyone to get benefit, correct? Any last closing comments, any additions anyone has?
Hare Krishna. I just want you to reflect on text 31. You spoke about Shriyas plus prayers. Can you reflect on this again?
Yes, thank you. This is a very nice point we discussed. Shreyas is long-term good. Long-term good, even though immediately it may not be very appealing to us. Like we discussed the example of child. The child may not like to study immediately, but if the child likes to play, that's prayers. Playing all day, the child would be happy. But long-term, what will happen? It will lead to problems. It will lead to a bad future for the child. We discussed the example of eating candies. If the child eats like 10 candies every day, he may like it, she may like it, but long-term, what will happen? Tooth cavities and tooth problems and blood pressure and sugar and whatnot. So long-term, it will lead to suffering. On the contrary, Shreyas means immediately we may have to struggle, like studying, or it could be, for example, doing exercise or doing meditation, mantra meditation, getting up early in the morning. No one naturally likes to do that, at least in the beginning state. Getting up early is not easy, but long term it will give good results. That's Shreyas. Getting up early in the morning and chanting the holy names is not easy. It needs some effort, correct? How many of you agree to that? Okay, Avani and Vedya are agreeing. Very nice. So we all agree, right? Sampada is, and by the way, we have this morning meditation also. If anyone wants to join, they're more than welcome. So does that help, Shreyas versus prayers? So we should always choose Shreyas. Less intelligent person will choose prayers. Forget about tomorrow. Like today, again, example of finance. Take loans, beg, borrow, or steal. Don't worry about tomorrow. Today, just enjoy. That person may go for, take huge loans or take, and may enjoy for a few days. But what will happen later? Right? You'll have to pay heavy interest. You'll have to either go bankrupt or the police will be behind him or her. Long-term suffer. Correct? Is that okay?
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So I guess we will pause here, and reminder again. So please read till 39, and then the next class we will cover the rest of the verses, and also discuss a wonderful acronym of doubt, which will kind of give a summary of the whole chapter. So thank you again to all of you for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Gita ki,
Hare
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.